Hey, think I'm on. Oh no. Whoops. Hello, hello, everybody. Hi, Manuel, what's up? Lionel, what's up? How you doing today? Okay, hold on. Let me try to set this up real quick. No new information, just a lot of speculations coming in your way. I think today it's worth kind of reminding people how great this company is, huh? It's ready. It's ready. Okay. Let's go. Okay, let me set this up here. Not sure how long I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna talk until my energy depleted. So it might be a long time. So, 4 or 5 hours, probably a good time, huh? A good amount of time, no? Sorry, I have my coffee, got my water. I should have a bite. Eat anything yet, so. Still morning time, 8:30 over here. Not sure wherever you are, you're probably evening time over there. So, let's go. How was your weekend? Still going. It's Saturday over here. It's Sunday over there, right? Sunday night, I would say. No, Saturday night. Okay, 11. Okay, great. Manual Eastern time. Cool. All right, let's go. Where is Eastern? Is that New York City? I forgot where you come from, Manuel. If you don't mind me knowing that. It's not important anyway, I'm just killing some time here waiting for a few more people coming in. Saturday evening. Okay, cool. All right, let's go. Okay, so Florida. Okay, yeah, I forgot. I know you're somewhere around there in that type. What is it? Time zone. Michigan. All right. Cool. I've never seen you before. Natural Trader. 007. Welcome. All right, so let's start with the price action. Now, there was a little bit of price movement after hours. It's always fun to see, but it's not much of a excitement yet, right? Of course, this is could be because the OpEx yesterday it was an OpEx earning. The ending, so that could be what it was after hours. Just a remnants of, shortings and whatever. The natural flow of things, whenever they're allowing the volume to come in. And it's very controlled. I feel like everything about this company trading stock, I'm talking about the stock, I'm not talking about the company itself, but just the price movement itself, it feels very controlled. Any type of spikes whatsoever after hours or pre-market, it being taken back immediately when it was trading, just like this one right here. See, like there was a spike here, and of course the narrative at the time, it was the Bitcoin narrative, okay? And so was it after hours or pre-market? I think that was after hours there. And pre-market was just kind of like tapering off and then dump again. So there's not much that was allowed to move forward in terms of price advancement. So I'm thinking, again, a very layman TA over here. You could see that there's a little bit of price perking up right there, downtrend like that. Not a TA person, so don't even try to, to come over here to get any TA that is, worth taking a trade on. Okay, so please don't take any trade on this. But again, so the downtrend is there. You seem to have a little bit of, I haven't used this one quite a bit. So it seems like, there's a buy signal over here. This is a 1 hour price chart. And then this is the daily. So there's a downtrend there too that you could see. But it seems like, I don't know how to read this indicator, but I'm just ballparking this, right? There might be a diversion here. Who knows? But anyway, so price movement seems positive at the moment, right? But again, just be careful. They do this all the time in earnings time. They're trying to entice people to buy into call options and then, say, oh, this is it, and then just rip your heart out. They do that often. Not to say that the company won't do great, even though it will pose a great, earnings. Depends, right? Hey, if they could do $200 million a quarter, that's going to be like shattering some minds. I have high hopes for this company, obviously. So I'm very biased in that sense because I've been following this company quite a bit. So as you guys all know, and, it's very hard for me not to kind of, find good things that happens in this company. But also I want to kind of rear myself back a little bit too, because the price action typically seemingly doing the opposite of what I wanted to do, right? But, you have to kind of separate the two too. It's like, price action is different from the actual company. So, if you've been in the market for a long time, you understand that sometimes you just have to be, they could fake you out. Price seemingly doing terrible, but the company is doing well. I mean, if that's the case, you'll find the opportunity of a lifetime here. But anyway, so let's see. And also, like, it's so, it's very it depends on the OpEx, liquidity, and it's not much to do with the fundamental per se. And so that's why, like, seemingly anytime there's good earnings of something, like, for example, right here, right? Like, it has nothing to do with the, fundamental at all. So in my opinion, this is a good earnings, okay? But because of a, price miss, it's going to be, it's typically, maybe they do this thing on purpose. They knew that Jimmy's not going to be able to, beat the expectation here, and they make sure of that. Right? The expectation was just too high. But again, even with that expectation, we hit it on the nail right there in terms of increase in I guess earnings per share. Okay, so as a investor, this is what you want to see: earnings per share going up in value, shareholder equity going up in value. Okay, so but anyway, so they would try to fake people out, and then now again, when you see a lot of analysts out there telling you that it's only worth certain things, remember when we were over here, Wedbush was saying we're only worth $4 a share. Okay, and then now because of the dilution and all that stuff, we were able to raise $4 billion in this price point right here, in this time period. Sorry. And then ever since then, we have increasing, shareholder equity, little by little, small little incremental change here, you guys. Like again, we're living in a very bad economy, okay? And you've heard about the retail apocalypse that is happening right now, right? So the price action for this stock, I'm sure, is kind of related to that as well, because again, sentiment matters in the company, or any company, sorry, in the stock market. And so with the bad sentiment on retail front, I'm sure TME with the discretionary spending, category. So that's why we take a hit too. So just keep that in mind. It's not all rose and in terms of the economy outlook over here. And with the Fed is not lowering the rates and all that stuff, so that's going to kind of affect the stock market, the liquidity aspect of things. So, so this stock might not move for a while until it's glaring. Even though they post good earnings and all that stuff, that still might not matter in the short term. But in the long term, obviously, if they could post positive from now on, quarter by quarter, it's undeniable at that point, So it might be another year before you could see any price improvement. But to me, as an investor, right, this is a good time to accumulate. And hopefully by the end of this year, you're going to get more shares in the end. So you have to think about that in the long term. But in the short term, yes, you could play the call options and all that stuff. With the earnings and try to time the market, try to time the price movement and all that stuff. You could play that if you want, but keep in mind though, there's no billionaire traders out there that you could see. As a day traders, right? You're live and die by your own decision. Your portfolio is gonna take a hit too. So. Unless you are an insider, you can't time it just right, So now you could play, it's like, with this indicator, with this technical analysis and all that stuff, you could fool yourself to think that those pattern matters. But what matters is liquidity. So if the liquidity is dry, or if the market maker, have that much control, you might not be able to win, in that sense. Because again, if they have unlimited liquidity, to misdirect, the volume and all that stuff. So it's pretty evident. I'm hoping anyway, for anyone who've been tracking this company for a while, the way that it was trading and all that stuff. Again, dark pool and all of that present in this. And Moran just did a video about marking order buy as sell. And that's evident too, because they got fined from that, right? There's sorry, I'm trying to I'll do that later. They misorder. They miss marking order, buy as sell order, and they've done that, and they got fined for it. So to say that it's not happening again, and again, I don't know why they're allowed to do that and not getting in trouble. So unless the enforcement laws is enforced, they're not going to stop. So even though they got fined, it's just like a cost of doing business, right? So again, that's the unfair nature of what it's like to be in this stock. And obviously, you know, people who doesn't know anything about this company, they're gonna come out and say, well, look, this company is a piece of shit, right? Because of price action. So it's like kill two birds with one stone type thing for people who are trying to mislead people about this company, right? But again, that's why I like this leadership, because they're not, you know, here to misdirect anyone by not telling you what to do and what is going on in the company, like guidance, in terms of guidance here. They really don't want to hype things up, right? Misdirect people by words. They would much rather show you what they can do based on the number and all that stuff, and you know, so that their words cannot be twisted in that sense. So if you see the number and you love the number, then go ahead, invest, right? I mean, by number, I mean, like, let me see, earnings. Okay, hold on, let me try to find this quick. Anyway, so I hope you guys get that rundown, a little summary over here. Of course, I'm sure you've seen this a million times, but it's worth reminding people. Yes, you know, we do have some positive earnings, yes, based on interest payment and all that stuff from the cash that we've been able to raise as a company. PE ratio, yes, that's going to be fixed, right? In 2 days, in 2 trading days, we're going to see, by Tuesday, we're going to see that how much is going to come down, because again, it really depends. It used to be what, 400, okay, in 2 quarters ago. Because again, yeah, this is a turnaround company. It's going to have some, weird wonker, price to earnings ratio, of course, right? But again, what we're concerning about is the earnings per share. As a shareholder, this is important, right? And now it's positive. It used to be negative, now it's positive. So, I mean, come on. So this is a nice turnaround company that have a story of a lifetime, right? No company has this type of lore behind it. And think about that. I mean, just that alone, right? As a popular company, it's going to be popular in the future too. So long term, you know, you can't go wrong with this one, in my opinion. Of course, like, I'm biased. So just, hey, what's up, Michael? But anyway, so that's that. And then, you know, forward PE ratio, obviously this is, I feel like that's inaccurate, but we'll see. I mean, the estimate for this company to forecast, right? Of course, one lonely analyst here, and we know who they are, right? Look at this, right? What is this? Last year, he was expecting us to be only, what, $5 a share. Now, all of a sudden, it's $10 a share. So yeah, like Moran's was saying, so next year, it's going to be $20 a share, okay? And then they're just like late to the game on how to evaluate the company here. And of course, you know, these guys are working Wedbush, right? They have a short position on GME. And of course, they would love this company to be traded at 10, because then they lose less money, right? So whether they already closed it or not, I have no idea. That's made to be seen. of course, Wedbush also pump, what is it, Nvidia and all that stuff too, to try to get their money back. I'm supposing. Speculation, okay. Hey, because I can. What's up? What's up? Okay, so the revenue per year, there's expecting a 23% down. We're fixing this for sure. Eventually, we're gonna this gonna go higher. Right now we're at the equilibrium and we're about to soar. Okay, so new revenues coming. How much more we don't know. How much growth in the revenue side we don't know yet. Until the number showed up, then we'll find out, right? I mean, I don't know. As far as like forward guidance, is he going to give forward guidance this time? I don't think so. Based on the previous way that this leadership has been operating, and that I don't mind. If they don't give you, forward guidance, create your own forward guidance. I mean, what's wrong with that? But again, these people don't want to do their own research. They're lazy. The analysts out there, they have been given a silver spoon, feeding in the information, all the time, like from the CEO that want to cater to them. Obviously, they're gonna feed them with that, right? And so they've been kind of spoiled with information for a long time. No wonder they don't like Ryan Cohen promoting him and all that stuff on social media. But that's, again, in my opinion, this is the type of leadership I want because they have a stand, okay? They have a strong conviction in what they do. And when you have a strong conviction in leadership and leadership like this who have their own strong conviction that, certain things are not going to cross the line of, right? And so, strong leadership like this, you don't want to ignore. And so, why is it strong not to give guidance? Well, because perhaps they just don't know where the economy is going to go either because of the, uncertainty of the tariffs. And then the Fed is not doing anything seemingly right now, whether they're going to lower the rate, hike the rate and all that stuff. It's uncertain. So the world is uncertain as it is. So how can anyone expect to give some sort of guidance, right? And the guidance that they want anyway is like 5 years ahead, next quarter and all that stuff. It's all short-term mind thinking anyway. And so, anyway, my opinion is that guidance is useless. I mean, it's only useful for the top guys to know. It's like exactly where things are, and even guidance too. It's really confusing for people to try to coming into your company, trying to invest in your company, because if they give you a forward guidance that is bad, but the current current earnings report is doing well, your stock's gonna decrease in price anyway because bad forward guidance. And that thing happens over and over again, right? And so it's confusing for people who are not in the know, and then they have formed a very skewed way of looking at the company in and of itself. So the evaluation is based on the price action rather than what is happening in the core business. And in my opinion, the financial advisor and all that stuff, they are just promoting people trading in and out, right? And so that's how they make their money. Obviously, that's the game that is being played. But hopefully people will become a little bit smarter, in the end. Good morning, good morning. Good afternoon. All right, from Denmark. Wow, cool. Terry sent you through Discord? Oh, okay. It's a short video. Cool. I'll check it out later. Thank you. All right. So anyway, my point is that just be patient. This company has a good leader. I'm sure there's a lot of chattering right now um, with the Sultan. I can't say his name. Sorry. Uh, so in my opinion, there's some things happening, behind closed door. And just because Ryan Cohen is thought as a person who doesn't do anything for the company doesn't mean it's not happening behind closed door. Okay, he's just not telling you. Okay, there's hints and bits and pieces for people who wants to follow closely about this company. And if you don't want to pay attention, then don't pay attention. Go invest in something else. It's simple, okay? A great companies doesn't need to be advertising. Like Tesla. Like, have you seen any Tesla being advertised in the on online? Sorry, on TV. Like, has there any been? Wait, somebody's calling me. The hell? Sorry. Not gonna pick up. Okay. I have no idea who that is. But anyway, so my point is, like, great companies, people are gonna flock in anyway based on the numbers. So I mean, you just have to wait for the earnings report. Now, hopefully by that time, right, the number is gonna be undeniable anyway. Or it could flop. Who knows? It could be miserably missed by 8 cents. Who knows, right? I mean, just because I have good outlook doesn't mean it's gonna come like that, right? My fear is that they're gonna miss on revenue again, and then when I said fear, it's not like I'm gonna sell my share. No, I'm saying that the price action is gonna take a hit on that, and my call is gonna be worthless at that point. So I still have my April call still, but I'm not planning to hold it on past earnings. So I might sell some leading up to earnings, just a portion, so that just in case the earnings flop and all that stuff, or earnings good but then the price come down anyway, just to scare more people. Who knows? There's a lot of fake out over here. Hey, what's up? Yeah, where is the Berkshire Hathaway commercial? Good company, you don't need commercial. There's a enough word of mouth to eventually people are going to talk about it. If it's a good investment, people are going to flock in. You don't need, all you need is just time, really. Remember, Berkshire Hathaway was just a textile company before, okay? And it takes, maybe 10 years before people are like, but typically, when you want to invest with Warren Buffett, you didn't have the ability to do so back then. So even if you have $10,000, I don't think you could invest in Berkshire Hathaway, because they have a certain limit. It's like, oh, you have to have $50,000 back in the 80s. Something like that. Now you have the ability to invest with Ryan Cohen, and it's like $23 a share. That's not too bad. $24 a share. That's not too bad. And so the opportunity is here, but people are still, butthurt about how the price action doesn't give them $1 billion today. So that's where, again, this is the mentality of a trader, right? They trade in and out. They think they could time it just right. It's like, oh, it's not time yet and all that stuff. It's like, why would you pay attention to this company? I just recently watched this guy who just constantly bashing on GameStop, right? But again, from the perspective of a trader, this stock has been so frustrating for people to time. They cannot Time it just right. And of course, only one person that I know is very successful at trading this stock, right? That is Rowan Kitty, and he's not even a trader. He's combining the skill that he has as a deep value investor and technical analysis, and of course, volatility trader as well. And so he does pretty well with timing this particular stock to the point where he was about to make $1 billion from this. To amass that type of wealth, right? It cannot be understated. I'm telling you, if Keith was to work for some sort of hedge fund, he would be paraded around. He would have been like one of the top guy. But because he used his own money, right? There's a lot of hatred towards the guy for whatever reason. You cannot tell me that this guy is like just a dumb luck, because of luck and all that stuff. And I'm sure he would be humbled enough to say that, hey, this is unusual, right? You cannot just do it, and expect it to replicate his result, because, when he took the risk, it was high. People were like, laughing at him, say, why would you take a risk on this stupid stock, right? So again, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity there. Not to say there's not any more opportunity in this company, but I think right now it's just a little bit harder to replicate in his style of investing. Unless you know when they're gonna turn the liquidity on and all that stuff, But as a retail investor, you have to be careful in that sense. So, because you don't hardly get any information. And even with the plethora of information, you could get really faked out too. Because again, there's a lot of tactic to try to draw the volume out of the lit market so that you don't see any price appreciation at all. Typically, price appreciation comes after hours or pre-market. And so regular people don't get to participate in that unless you know how to trade after markets, right? But even then, your call option would not be appreciated in price at all. So again, that's why, call is very, skewed, if you buy calls or even puts too. Like people are like, I make so much money on puts option. Well, congratulations if you do. But I doubt it, Price would have to move so much quicker. But yes, they were enticed to buy into a put for sure. Very, very skewed. I don't see any Bentley commercial either. Luxury, yes, exactly. I'm telling you, people who don't advertise their success, and it really takes it requires a lot of research too. Like if you want to look into a company, that really doesn't have to say much, because they know their quality. They know that people are gonna eventually seek quality, and people who just fly by night and come to the stock just for a quick in and out and all that stuff really is not valued. And again, that's why traders lose their money. 90% of them lose their money. And only a couple of people who are able to do that. And they promote it like crazy because they want you to think that, yeah, this is easy. All you have to do is just doing this and this. Jump in and out like that. Selling you the course, right? Thinking that they're the best system, they are the best trader. But just like Moran's was saying, right? If you're the best trader, why you have to sell the course? Why not just, like Keith didn't sell any course, He just, again, genuinely want people to at least see the process of investing, deep value investing. And then, if you want to seek that knowledge, you have to sift through all of the, data and all that stuff. Of course, he was not just one stock back then. He had other stocks too. But GME was just like one of his high conviction stock. That was his main position, obviously. And yeah, it helped him, bring him to where he is today. And honestly, I think he was the scapegoat for sure to try to explain why the price was the way that it was. But in actuality, it was because of the skewed, percentage of shorting shares and all that stuff. But they don't want to tell you that. The media is always giving you the wrong perspective on things. They don't tell you the truth. And they much rather give you a bullshit explanation as to why a stock move, right? I mean, just like this one right here. When they were announcing Bitcoin, right? We knew that news was 2 days before that. And it didn't do anything to the stock. But all of a sudden, when they want to move the stock up, right? They push that news up right there just to, again, hold on, I'm trying to find that day right here, this one. We know that news was 2 days before that, around here. But because they wanted to do something to the position, their position, hedge or whatever, they had to buy it at after hours. And again, after hours, right? And people who bought calls over here were not able to appreciate that calls. So that's the manipulation part of it. That's why I said manipulation. That's what I mean by that. And if you think that this stock is not manipulated, come on, you live under the rock at this point. We're the luxury of the gaming sector. Of course, I mean, there's no competition, right? I don't see any retail company, well, with the exception of Amazon, but Amazon is everything, right? So they cannot, focus on just one sector and do it well. So again, that's why Ryan Cohen with Chewy, he was able to beat Amazon sell, because he's building it to the point where it's stable enough for returning customer to keep coming back for Chewy. I'm still a customer at Chewy. I love Chewy. I never would, and the pricing is pretty competitive to Amazon too. And they price match everything, and on top of that, if you do auto ordering, you get a further discount as well. And then on top of that, if I want to call them, they pick up the phone right away. You get to talk to humans, what is this, the virtual assistant and all that stuff. They use that too, but eventually you're going to get human online. So whatever issue that you have, prescription or whatever. So the customer service is very good for Chewy. And again, these are the legacy that was built by Rowan Kitty, by Ryan Cohen. So when he does things, he doesn't do stuff half-assedly. Okay, so that's the leadership that you want to pay attention to, and very long-term mindset, hardworking. I mean, come on, And I don't think he's gonna stop until he beats his own number. Okay, whatever his own number is, and you better believe it's high. It's high conviction, high growth type of ideas here. Yes, I know time wise, you might be like, oh my God, it should happen already 3 years. It's like it should happen today, in 2 days. Like, no, it's going to be an ongoing thing. You cannot turn this thing, uh, it's a multi-billion dollars company here, and, to build something that lasts, you have a lot of foundation to be built on. Currently, because the foundation from the old leadership management was terrible. It was under everything. Remember, he was doing the interview with Joe, whatever his name is. He told you what happened, the challenge that he has to face for GameStop. Okay, and it was under investment of every single facet of the business. So to do that, he has to clean each and every one of them, whether it's development, whether it's technology, whether it's, a shipment, and all that stuff. Brick and mortar was under investment in e-commerce platform. And so, because that e-commerce is a really good way to lean on when it comes to cost cutting, old leadership was not doing that. Whether they're doing it intentionally or unintentionally, it's still bad for the company back then. And so for him to clean that up, it takes some time, right? And to do it in 3 years, this is like breakneck speed in corporate world. Okay, so because corporate is very slow to adapt into new ideas. Okay, so in order to do that, he has to clean up so many people that were not fighting. They were fighting to keep the old system, going, even though it's not working for shareholder. So I mean, I can't imagine the early days of board meeting. And again, for Ryan Cohen to successfully push those people out is a successful endeavor already. And of course, just because it's he's able to push them out doesn't mean that there's no challenge to go into. No, now you have to face the challenge to build the company in this environment too. So again, to me, he's already successful in that because again, the economy is not doing well. Think about that. So, and he's still able to steer this ship in that direction, the right direction. In this time frame, it's still amazing to me anyway. So I know as a trader, you want it happen tomorrow, but just keep in mind, the the work that has to be done in the corporate world is much more difficult than what your head could imagine. Okay, so you have to respect that. So again, just because you could buy it at a low and then sell it at high at 2 days notice doesn't make you the expert, okay, in the company. And again, there's a perverted incentive, obviously, right, for people who are doing that to just taking advantage of the price action in days and months, and then just thinking that I'm making $1 billion today, so why would I care to run a company? It's like, and then don't place the respect on people who actually build things, okay, who actually wake up every single day to go to work, who actually wants to build something that will last, And these people who are trading and all that stuff, they could not imagine, going to work day in and day out. They don't have the character to do it. No wonder, you hear it in their voice, right? This company is just stupid. It's like, okay, all right. You do you, okay? But anyway, so again, I would much rather long-term builders rather than people who just fly by night, trying to get you in and out of this stock and all that stuff. For what? For their own gain. Like they're doing it for their own gain. But it's just life, I guess. Stock market is like that, full of people who have different opinions of each other. Who knows, right? Zero-sum game, right? You win some and you lose some. It's okay. There'll be more people coming in. And I'm hoping that we would be able to accrue a lot more stable investor. And I feel like, Ryan Cohen was able to, this is a good segue. Sorry, I'm kind of babbling a little bit here. So let's get to the meat and potato of the show. So I know you've probably seen a lot of posts from Sultan Almaadeed. Okay, Almaadeed. And he's alluded to mentioning GME by name, and I feel like there's something brewing. Comparing GME to NVIDIA. So perhaps we're gonna take on NVIDIA as a high growth stock moving forward. I mean, that's exciting. People are gonna be like, compare GME to NVIDIA? How could you? How dare you? It's like, well, I mean, we're a small company right now, but that doesn't mean we cannot become big. Okay, so it might take like 5 years or 10, but we're getting there. I mean, comparing the performance of, the SPY, QQQ with GME. So it's on that par. And I am sure, he has a lot of billionaires out there, that he knows that he might get influenced by, or he could influence some of his friends to take GME a little bit more seriously. So these are the type of, investor that you want, that are, growth oriented and come with the capital to carry, the mission of GME moving forward, right? And of course, he tweeted this one out. That's a good sign, obviously. Again, promoting GME directly here. And again, it's not just like a speculation of some sort here. Well, in what capacity, I don't know. But if he's not personally involved in the growth of the company moving forward, I don't think he would be just promoting it, right? And honestly, I don't think he's like a short-term type of people who just coming here a few years and then, leave the company. So these people are long-term minded thinkers, okay? And, they seemingly very keen on looking at the American investment, like, coming to America type thing, building on companies, American company, and moving forward to try to at least build something that lasts for quite some time, generation to come, right? And also to, you have this gentleman here, not quite sure who exactly who he is, but mentioning GME directly. Come back to that later. But of course, again, this is what makes me think that he is, talking about GME. But although he doesn't mention it here. But again, it's alluded to where he was mentioning about the tokenization of GME there. So that's blockchain related, in my opinion. and then couple that with the next generation, Berkshire Hathaway. These type of reference, in my opinion, is not meant to I mean, you shouldn't take that lightly. Obviously, they're trying to build something here with Jimmy in mind. And personally, meeting up with Ryan Cohen as well. I mean, again, this is not tinfoil, you guys. I'm not trying to say, oh, there's a secret meeting no. They're they're telling you, it's like, hey, there's something's being built here. Just be patient, Whoever have the most patient, come on, think about that, It's gonna benefit so much more. And when you have this type of leadership and this type of connection to the money side, the capital, side of things, you don't want to miss out on that. Paul Atkins set for Senate hearing this week. Oh, cool. Which is a huge news for news, so he can press NFT for XRP. Yep. We're all waiting on that. Of course, the price action is doing something stupid right now. Crypto went down for whatever reason. It's like, in my opinion, they're trying to fake more people out of this asset class. Again, anytime they want to get into something, they bring the price down. Come on. We know the trick. So just have to be patient. Again, that's why you have to separate the price action to the actual thing. Okay. They do that for a reason, so that they could get more out of more of it at a low price, as low as possible. And then, when they pump it up, that's when they want retail to come in, okay, to buy at a high, sell at a low, so that they could buy at a low and sell at a high to you. They do that often. So just be smarter and do the opposite. UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund, okay, which is chaired by the okay. U.S. private equity firm, Energy Capital Partner. Okay. Energy Capital Partner is the private equity. They work. Oh no. Right, so that they could get it at a lower price. They do that. I did see something about Apollo Connection here. He was reading about Mark Rowan. Yeah. Somewhere over here. But I mean, that connection, I'm hoping, Ryan Cohen is a little smarter than that, not to associate with the bad partnership here. Okay. Preach be more. Oh, okay. All right. 100%, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. I know, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. I need some new people to disagree with me. Honestly, it's just so boring at the moment. People just agree with me all the time. Hate it. Hate that. Nah, just kidding. No, it's aggravating to have people disagree with you. I get it. I usually seek out people who disagree with me, just so that I have, some different perspective. But, with respect to Jimmy, though, I feel like they think that I'm in a cult at this moment in time. That I'm blind, company's not doing well. It's a shitty company. Why would you want to invest in it? It's a waste of time. All of that. And then I'm like, at every point, right? I'm like, no, you're wrong. And then it's like, why? I never see a reason why. Okay, that's okay. Well, you will see in due time. I don't have to even explain to you. Like, it's okay. People are gonna flock in when they need to. They're gonna have to, come to their own conclusion, and by that time, it's gonna be late for them. And then they're gonna be like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Human nature. The same exact thing happened with crypto as well, right? With Bitcoin. In due time, you're gonna feel. I'm sure in 10 years from now, Bitcoin's gonna be a lot higher in price. I don't know how high, but I feel like that's another asset class that people don't really understand. It's still early. I'm saying, like, I'm telling you, still early. We are still early into this company too, and it's just like can be lonely sometimes, to invest in companies like this. But that's when you see the most reward. When people disagree with you vehemently about the company, and then you come, you wait for people to agree with you. I'm curious to see how many people actually agree that GME is a good company. High growth, high, conviction stock, all that stuff. So, I would wager only 10% of us in the world right now really believe in GME long term. Dare I say 10%. But yeah, that 10% is going to grow over time, as they could prove, as Ryan Cohen and leadership could prove that we are more and more profitable, scalable, and, setting up for success. Okay. So anyway, 1 hour. What is this? AGA. What is it? Oh, 1 hour ago. Update everyone. Da-da-da. It comes to ECP. Oh. And Apollo. Wait a minute. So are they partner up with is that Energy Capital partner? I don't like Apollo, so that cannot be good. Who's keep calling me? Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay. Okay. If you look at it, Sultan Eyes is coming from the Middle East on the outreach mission, and he is trying to meet with as many people as possible to develop relationship. That makes sense, right? But I'm curious why Brian Cohen though. Maybe because he was at Mar-a-Lago. I wonder who reached out to who. Brian Cohen or the Sultan. Me personally, I don't trust. Yeah. I mean, anyone associated with Apollo Global Management, right? It's just scammy. But what I've heard about them is just like they, I think Moran's did a segment on that, where they kind of had to change their business model now. I'm hoping they change it for the good, but because they no longer can bankrupt company anymore. There's no other bankrupt, no company that could be bankrupt anymore. Maybe they already, scoop up most of it already. They're ready to build it back this time around. Okay, so they are Apollo in the energy sector. No wonder energy sector is just terrible. Price goes up like crazy and just no real development there. They're just there to take. I think it's only 2 to 4% right now. So many normies believe the people. Oh, okay. All right. So you even less percentage than me then. Okay, so hey, we even earlier than I thought then, if that's the correct way of thinking it. I mean, so that way you're the top 4%, top 4 percentile. I mean, a good gauge of, long-term investor would be Moran's channel. So right now it's 13,000 people, right? Well, assuming that those accounts are all real, which I think it is, because, I've been watching the guy for years now, and I think every single subscriber of his are real people. There's no bots and all that stuff. So I'm willing to say, oh, but there could be a lot of haters as well. So that's for sure. So maybe half of the subscriber are haters. So let's do that just for safety reason, right? So in that case, it's only 7,000 real investor out there. So yeah, you could be right. PE wants Trump. Okay, private wants Trump. Era money. Remember saying that SoftBank will help with AI. Yeah, I heard about SoftBank. Is helping Silver Lake PE with NVIDIA round tripping. Wow. That could be. That's unfortunate. There's a lot of revolving door, a lot of secrecy going on there. 13K with 4 billion, 8 billion. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty lonely to be an investor in this company, obviously, but hey, the reward's going to be sweet whenever that happens. So yeah, I mean, there's something brewing there. And then this gentleman here just out of nowhere, and of course, he just got, I guess, naturalized. That's cool. This is U.S. citizen, very enthusiastic about it, I'm sure. And of course, this guy over here, I think that's the one that you were mentioning, right? Hanun. And then directly talking about squeeze. Maybe they're starting to investing in it now, long term. And then the $1.4 trillion in money investment coming in. Maybe a piece of that will be GME as well. Who knows, right? That's what we're hoping. I know, like for a small company, people like that's a pipe dream. That would never happen. A trillion company, $1 trillion company. Yep, directly talking about the squeeze there. And then I think this is a meme, the Titanic meme. I don't know if it's Rowan Kitty who did it, but it's been 84 years. Let it fly. So funny. Let's see. And then this is the one, of course, would you stop at this intersection? And of course, GameStop. And then GameStop to the moon, right? GameStop, moon landing. So, I mean, again, this year is the one. And then there we go. Patience is the companion to wisdom. Yeah, it's a quote, obviously. Stay patient, spilling the beans soon. So I don't know, speculation wise, obviously, there might be some sort of partnership announcement moving forward with GME. And then directly mentioning GME by name here. So that was, hold on, I wonder, okay, March 20th. So March 20th, I want to go back here, see when that picture was posted. Is it after or before? This one right here. Right before it. So a day after this picture being posted, this guy started to post a lot of things. So again, these people is probably just like enthusiastically investing in the company as we are, but because they have deep pockets, right, that hold some weights there. I don't know how much they invest in it personally, obviously. We can't know that. But at least some interest looming. Okay, so 20th, right? The day after that one. Yeah, before that, there was none mentioning about GME. But he's pretty active recently. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know him personally, but yeah. A lot of association with GME now. And again, if GME is able to demonstrate that this quarter is going to be a good quarter moving forward, you think that all of the institution is not going to flock in at that point? They might need a few more good earnings for them to be sure that, okay, moving forward, GME is going to be a company to invest in. And so in which case you are early. You're a lot earlier than the institution out there. Think about that. I mean, with Palantir, right? If you look at the Palantir, like, yes, they IPO and then it goes up and then coming back down because people were earlier investor, they took some profit there and then dump it on retail. Now, back here, Palantir was the most hated company. Like back here, oh, it's terrible, it's not doing this, it's not doing that. And of course, again, they don't want you to buy over here. They want you to buy over here. No media is trying to get you to buy. Like Jim Cramer doesn't come here and say, okay, Palantir is a buy. No, Palantir is a buy over here. I mean, it's so obvious. That's why, again, you have to do the opposite sometimes. People who believe in GME and follow Marines. Oh, wow. Look at that. See, we're so early. So proud to be a part of the elite group of believer. Okay. Cool. I've been holding since the last July. Glad to be a part of it. Okay, cool. Hey, late July. Perfect time. Perfect time. But anyway, so again, this type of thing's gonna happen. Perhaps we're gonna be trading sideways for quite some time still, even though we're gonna do good on the earnings. Just be aware of that. This might be the sideways action there. And then we're gonna slowly inching to the promised land. Okay, but wherever your promised land is, make sure you have some plan over here. Wow, if the promised land is like this, could it be? Could it be? But yeah, that's require a lot of volume, you guys. That's like billions of shares being traded in a single day type of thing. So those type of events may not ever happen again, but rest assured, I'm telling you, the company is doing well. That's what your focus should be. I know price action is important when it comes for you to sell, if you want to sell it at a high price. I get it. That's fun to see. I get it. But I'm telling you, the company itself is here for a long term. And so, that's why, again, I have my strategy. Okay, there's a portion of my share that I'm not going to ever sell, no matter what, until, all of those parameters hit, which is S&P 500, right? That's the main goal for any company to hit. Right here. Before this, Palantir was not in the S&P 500 yet. But then they inch up. And what happened? S&P 500 announcement, boom, right? That's what we want to see. And until the S&P 500 announcement, you may not see GME doing that amazing price action movement or whatever for a while, okay? I'm not saying this to discourage you, okay? If you want to bet up, bet down, or whatever you want to do, that's on you. But I'm saying as a long-term investor, it's much more less stressful, I'm telling you. Just buy whenever you can. For me, anything under 50, fair game to me. Under 50, fair price action. And why under 50? Because, price to book for retail on average is 5 times its earning. 5 times its book, sorry. So that will increase as time goes on, and when we're able to, increase in the shareholder equity, right? So we're doing well, okay? 2 positive earnings on the EBIT. This is what we want. So this is going to continue to go up as time goes on, okay? So last year, wait, hold on. Let me see. What is this? 4th quarter, yeah. So last year we were able to do $31 million in the minus. So right now, since we're on the plus, right, that's gonna carry through. Okay. Now we've been positive on the EBITDA for quite some time. So Wall Street would love to promote this EBITDA, okay? They love it because they get you, I guess they get to get in early, okay? Accumulation early than retail. Or at least get retail to to jump in early so that they could rip your heart out first, and then when retail come in 6 months later over here, they would like to mislead people, say, this company's not doing anything based on the price action. And this is when you should be starting to accumulating, right? So again, misdirection is everywhere, you guys. You have to be smart and understand how to read the balance sheet, right? Not saying that I'm smart at all. I'm just like self-taught myself over here to look into certain numbers, certain metric here. I know I have so much patience for this company. I get it, more than usual because of other factors. It's not just the balance sheet, you guys. It's other factors as well The reason why I focus on the balance sheet is because it keeps me grounded, sane, right? Keeps me knowing where the ship is going to direct to, right? The direction of the ship. And so, yes, even it's slowly, but it's slowly getting into the right direction, okay? And I see evidence of it already since back here, right? See? I mean, can you imagine? Used to lose close to $500 million burning cash, $500 million. $500 million, right? Again, we're building stuff, right? We spend money to build stuff, right? Remember NFT marketplace? Yeah, people give crap about that until the end of time, right? And then, slowly we're directing the course of the ship to the right place. And it snowball. It seems to snowball, right? Look at this, $500 million lost. Now it's slowly inching to the other side, okay? And now we're to the positive. So this is the time to invest. This is the time to buy. This is the time to get excited about it, for sure. And so again, it's a matter of degree, right? If they could do, 2x here, next time when we could they do 130? I mean, come on, 130. And on top of that, you have this massive amount of interest too. It's gonna do some damage, I feel, to the psychology of traders out there. They're gonna not see it coming, and they're gonna be like, this stock is gonna come down in price again. Look, anytime it spike, it doesn't stay. And then again, they're gonna add to their short position, right? And then they're gonna add to their short position. They get blown off right here. It's like, no. I mean, how many people try to short this thing thinking that it's coming back down here, right? At that moment in time. And I'm sure most of this spike here comes from short who try to short it and got blown off of their position. Things like that's gonna happen again. Remain calm, okay? Like I said, if you want to bet up and down, that's on you. I'm doing some of that too, but not enough to cripple me if I lose everything. And I'm not planning to hold on to my call option a very long time. A couple of days, I'm out, okay? So I'm kind of playing it safe. So understand that. What is it? What is this term? Imitation? What imitation? Let's see. Okay. So let's listen to Peter Lynch a little bit here. I will come back. Give me 1 second.
Turnarounds. These are stocks that are battered down, or they're hated companies, or they've been forgotten about. They're depressed in price. But you have determined some one thing or a few things that have the potential for reversing this company's fortunes, independent of the industry getting better or the economy getting better. You always have to do a balance sheet check on any company. This includes turnarounds. Do they have enough cash to make it through the next 12 months, the next 24 months? Do they have a lot of debt that's due right now? These are important questions to answer. Make sure you understand and believe in the plan to restore corporate profits. It's all internal. They're doing something, either new product, new management, cutting costs, getting rid of something inside the company that allows them to improve themselves. Lots of turnarounds never happen, but a few winners can make up for lots of losers. What's important is to wait for the actual evidence of the turnaround occurring, not just the symptoms. The turnaround, you had plenty of time, so just don't buy on the hope. Wait for the reality. Turnarounds are so big, it's worth waiting to get some real evidence. SS Kresge was a company going nowhere, in real trouble. They invented the Kmart formula. They rolled it out across the country. The stock went up over 50-fold. Kmart became a massive stock.
Oops. You're copying people doubling. Okay. When it goes up. Of course. You know. Okay, so turnarounds. And again, when I hear this segment here, I really feel like he's talking about GameStop. Obviously, reminded me of GameStop here. Because again, it's the most hated company, right? If you walk around on the street right now, I'm sure either people don't even know what GameStop is, don't know who Ryan Corn is, or they just hate GameStop. It's like, oh, I thought it's a meme stock, right? So that's the conventional wisdom. So when the conventional wisdom is different from something, and then there's a surprise element, there's a catalyst, there's a way for the company to turn around, new revenue stream, which we have. All of that is really the components that will give rise to people starting to pay attention to it again. Okay. And I'm telling you, the media is going to flip their script so quick because they're already accumulating. Okay. Slowly. And you see evidence of that, in the institutional ownership. Don't believe me. Look at the filing. Okay. I mean, whether they're forced to do it because what Warren Kitty has done for the chain, like messed up the call option chain so that they are forced. Oh, give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me just. Okay, so that's why I'm like, okay. If you see this type of increase, okay, in institutional ownership, what do you think? And all of the institution out there is gonna keep increasing their position, right? So understand that and come corrected. I'm sure most of those institutions gonna follow each other, footstep, and then and they're not gonna tell you until they already built their position up already. I mean, look at this, right? Understand this point here, right? When this flip, meaning that more than 50% institutional ownership come in, that's when they move the price. Okay, so that might take a little time for people to realize. And when it rains, it pours type thing. So yeah, understand that. It is Warren Kitty on the phone. I wish. No, it's just somebody. But yeah, I need to call him back real soon. So I might just take off a little bit here. Might be important, so who knows. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna try to make sure I have everything here. Not much, you guys. I feel like, again, there's this good thing coming. Understand, what you're investing in. I'm very excited for the next 2 weeks. I might take a few days off. Who knows? Come Monday, I might be calling in sick. Who knows? Hopefully my boss doesn't listen to this. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'll be at work and have my earphone on so that the earnings report and all that stuff. I'm sure I've been listening to Marantz all morning, so during work, and it's always a fun time for me to have him in my ear while I'm working. So, a lot of time, a lot of time have passed, and I feel that maybe this is the earnings report that will push GME on the map for the institutional investor out there. I'm sure there will be naysayers still, even if they're posting a decent earning based on the time that we have right now. I mean, based on the amount of sales and all that stuff. Software, I'm sure collectible is gonna be exploding in that category because of the PSA. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to return that call, and I will let you guys go. I know it's been 2 hours already, so I think this is my limits. You could see it in my voice too. I feel, I think 2 hours is my energy level. Yeah, who knows? Maybe next time I'll just eat first, and then I'll have more energy to go a little bit longer. All right, guys, I will see you when I see you.